So if you just bought a MetaQuest 3 or a MetaQuest 3S and you're not too sure what games you should be buying, then here I'm going to give you my top 20-ish games that I think you should be having a look at. Now, some of these are going to be classic games, we've got new games, and we've got games that push really what the MetaQuest 3 and 3S can do to get the most out of these headsets. Plus, all the links to these games in the description down below will get you 20% off at the moment as well. Plus, I'm going to show you how to get access to over 50 games for the price of one. Let's get into it. In any game compilation, there's always about 5 games that always seem to appear as the best of games, and I'm not going to mention any of them. Well, I'll mention them just here, just for the sake of brevity. We've got Superhot, Beat Saber, Population 1, VR Chat, and Gorilla Tag. All those are very, very popular, but I also don't play them, which is why they're not in this list. So whilst I don't play those games, the games I do play, and these are classic games I keep coming back to time and time again, even though they're like 4 or 5 years old. First up is Pistol Whip. Now this is an on-rails physical action rhythm shooter, kind of think John Wick crossed with Beat Saber. You not only have to dodge bullets, but also kill silhouetted enemies in time with the music. It's simpler than it sounds, as it can get frantic in the harder levels, and you'll certainly get a workout from playing it. Despite it being released over 5 years ago, the developers are constantly releasing new content for it to keep it fresh. It's definitely worth a try. If you prefer your shooting to be a bit more medieval, then definitely give In Death Unchained a go. You'll use a bow and arrow which you can upgrade as you go to take down the forsaken souls and creatures that have taken over the afterlife. It's a procedural dungeon crawler where no 2 run-throughs are quite the same, which keeps you on your toes. It's just so much fun. Just be prepared for a sore arm. If you prefer your games a little more sporty, then the OG sports-based game for me has to be 11 Table Tennis. It's the closest you'll get to playing table tennis without physically actually playing it. You can play solo or just jump online and play with people from around the world. It's definitely the latter that's more entertaining, as playing someone real is just more engaging. If you prefer your sport games a little more sedate, then there's always Golf Plus. It is the ultimate VR golf experience and the official VR golf game of the PGA Tour. You can play on a number of different courses, either solo or online with others. You can even play famous courses like Pebble Beach and St Andrews, although you do have to pay extra for those. You don't need to get them though to get your golfing fix. It's a game that's definitely worth a swing. If you prefer your golf a little more casual, then Walkabout Mini Golf is the way to go. You'll be putting your golf ball around various mini golf courses ranging from Space Age to Pirate Bays. It's great fun played solo or with friends, and at $15 it's definitely worth checking out. If puzzles are more your thing, then Cubism is the way to go. This has you solving shape problems of varying difficulty as you try to fit a number of different sized shapes together into a single shape, and it gets progressively more difficult as you go. They've also added a mixed reality mode, so you can literally sit in your lounge with your puzzle floating right in front of you. It's wonderfully simple and simply wonderful. If you've ever played tabletop board games, then Demeo is definitely going to be for you. You can play solo, but it is best played as a group to get that real desktop board game feel. It's a game that's easy to pick up but hard to master, and there really is no other game like it. Roll the dice, command your warriors, and with no 2 run-throughs the same, you'll be coming back time and time again for more. Now moving on to newer games, and these are games that really can start to push what you can get out of these VR headsets. First up is Asgard's Wrath 2. It's a large-scale action RPG which was the flagship game that shipped with the Quest 3 when it was released last year. It was mind-blowing back then to see a game look this good on a standalone headset, and it still looks good today a year later. You'll battle gods and monsters as either a god or was possessing others for issues closer to the ground. It's part hack and slash and part puzzle solver, and there's a good mix of both to keep you playing for hours. It's not cheap at $60, but it is one of the biggest games you can play on the Quest 3 or 3S. Assassin's Creed finally comes to VR with Assassin's Creed Nexus. Now I love the Assassin's Creed games, and so bringing it to VR was just perfect for me. You play 3 different assassins, visit 3 different locations, and all the important Assassin's Creed mechanics are all there. Stealth, parkour, leaps of faith, and of course assassinations. The hand-to-hand combat can feel a bit repetitive and janky at times, but lean into this game's strengths of what Assassin's Creed is all about, which is parkour and assassinations, and this game really shines. If you'd rather take on zombies, then there's also The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. It is a game that is 4 years old now, but updates over the years have kept it fresh with improved graphics, textures and lighting effects, and even more zombies when playing on the Quest 3 or 3S. There's a physical weight to the weapons in this game. You need to use force to stab a zombie in the head and likewise to pull it out again. Weapons also degrade over time, so you're always on the hunt for new weaponry. It's this combination of physical gameplay and scavenging for resources that all adds to the atmosphere of one of the most engrossing games on any Quest headset. If you'd rather battle something a bit more, well, evil, then there's also Resident Evil 4. This is a faithful port of one of the most successful games in the Resident Evil series. You play as Leon Kennedy, sent to rescue the president's daughter from a cult, which as usual doesn't quite go to plan. You'll be battling mind controls, villagers and monsters with whatever weapons you can find, and you'll find yourself grabbing green and red herbs in no time in an effort to stay alive. As with every Resident Evil game, it's about gathering resources as much as it is fighting. The 2D transition screens, such as when jumping through a window, do feel jarring and break the VR immersion, but otherwise this is a fantastic game that is Resident Evil to its core. So I definitely recommend checking it out. Now there are plenty of fitness based VR games out there, but the pick of the bunch for me is Les Mills Body Combat. Whilst plenty of other VR fitness games make you sign up for a monthly subscription, with Les Mills Body Combat it's just a single price and you get everything, and that is a huge plus for me. And with over 50 different workouts, there's plenty of variety to suit everyone from beginner to expert. If you like your combat to be a bit more realistic and open, then Blade and Sorcery Nomad is for you. It's a VR combat sandbox like no other. Whether it's physical hand-to-hand combat or range weapons like bows and arrows or even magic, the combat really is only limited by your creativity. It's a game that has also gotten better over time, and they've added a single player story mode too, which is good to see, even if it is a bit basic. At the core of where this game excels, in its game mechanics and physics, there really is no other game like it. Dungeons of Eternity is a procedural generated dungeon crawler where no run through is the same. It can be played in single player mode, but is best played as a multiplayer game online with others. There are combat arenas, puzzle and trap rooms, secret chambers, and plenty more to keep you on your toes. There's gold to collect, keys to find, and hordes of spiders and the undead to fend off. If you like RPGs, then shout Leroy Jenkins and get into this. If you've ever wanted a pool table in your room but didn't have the space, then Miracle Pool is here to save the day. It puts a full-size pool table in the middle of your room in full colour pass-through mixed reality. You can customise the height of the table, the colour of the table and balls, and even the look of the queue too. You can play it on your own, but it is the most fun when playing against others online. I've been playing this game since it was in early access, and it's definitely one I'd recommend. So some great games have come out over the last 6 months or so that have really started to try and get the most out of the Meta Quest 3 and the Quest 3S. Not only just from a graphical capability perspective, but also really utilising mixed reality as well. So here's some of the best that I think you should check out. Home Invasion basically converts your home into the last bastion of hope against the zombie onslaught. Zombies will literally flood into your lounge where you have to fight them off with a gun, bat, or even your hands. It's great fun as you constantly spin around trying to see whether the next onslaught of zombies are going to come in through your door, a window, or even the wall. It is a bit buggy though. I mean, I've had zombies appear suddenly or windows disappear behind a table, but these are all bugs that are getting fixed with each update. Still, it's a great way to show off mixed reality to others, and it's only $10. It's not exactly breaking the bank. One of the most anticipated games of the year is Batman Arkham Shadow, and for anyone buying a Quest 3 or 3S between now and the end of April next year, well, you get it for free. Batman Arkham Shadow does a great job of taking everything that was great about the Arkham games on PC and console and porting it over to a full-on game in VR. It's impressive given that this is all running on a standalone headset. The hand-to-hand fighting feels more in your face than ever, and yet you still need to explore and solve puzzles to progress further in the game. This gives the game more balance than just being a hack and slash affair. It's a game that will have you fully engrossed saving Gotham from the Rat King and saying, "I'm Batman," whilst you do it. Metro finally comes to VR with Metro Awakening, so if you've liked previous Metro games then you're going to love this. The game is set in a nuclear winter in Russia where you venture through its subway tunnels to find your missing wife. It is survival horror that has segments of frantic fighting interspersed with lots of travelling and searching. It's a game that definitely gets off to a slow start, but it does pick up as the game progresses. Metro ports over to VR very well. It's impressive, captivating and terrifying all at the same time. The latest game, and arguably the biggest hitter of the year, is Behemoth. If ever you wanted to be the star of a fantasy movie, then this is it. Your quest is to slay the behemoth gods to save yourself and the land. This sees you take on various enemies, mini-bosses, and the inevitable behemoth gods themselves. Whilst fighting the lower class enemies can feel a bit repetitive at times, it's the fights with the gods that you're really here for. These are just on a scale that I haven't seen in VR before. It definitely takes some practice to take the gods down, but when you do, you feel like a complete badass. It's not perfect, but it is Behemoth. Now there is one game that for years has been my #1 game. However, this year I took it off because it's got a sequel. Thrill of the Fight 2 is here. I loved the first game as it was the only VR boxing game that gave you a real workout and actually felt like boxing. I got a serious sweat on playing that game. Thrill of the Fight 2 is in early access release at the moment and only supports online multiplayer at the moment. However, they are planning on adding a single player mode in 2025. Still, at only $10, I'd say get in there quick before the price goes up and take someone down online. So there are two games that aren't out yet that I think you should definitely keep an eye out for. And the first one that comes out in February next year is Alien Rogue Incursion. You play a marine who crash lands on an outpost and ends up taking on the aliens we've all come to fear. From the trailer, it looks very much like aspects of Aliens the movie moved over to VR. So if you're a fan of survival horror or the Aliens movies, then this should definitely be on your shortlist. If you've watched any spy movie where the actors have to get through a field of lasers, then you know exactly what this game is about. Developed by the same people that brought you Cubism, I'm really looking forward to this physical puzzle game. So if you're interested in any of the games that I've mentioned in this video, then be sure to check them out using the links in the description down below, which will also give you an extra 20% off until the end of the year. If you think there's any games that I've missed off this list that should have been on it, then let me know in the comments down below as well. And if you're new to VR, then I thoroughly recommend checking out Quest Plus. That is Meta's gaming subscription service, which gives you access to a ton of games for just $60 a year. I mean, that's the price of Asgard's Wrath 2 just on its own, and that game is included in the subscription. I'll put a link to that in the description down below for you as well. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please don't forget to like and share it. Consider subscribing if you're not. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.